So with the passing of my father, we decided to go through the photo album and show you guys a showcase of the photos we have from my father when I was growing up and sometime before I grew up or was even born. So this is just a slideshow of the photo album of photos of my dad in memory of him. And for the most part, Mom will be doing the dialogue because she knows these pictures a lot more than I do because she's had this album my whole life. So she'll be doing most of the commentary.
This is the day James was going to be baptized. It was 1982 in December 27th. He was almost a year old, and the minister said if we'd waited a little longer, he would have walked himself up the aisle. That's his sister Kelly to the right of him. That's Peter and Kelly. He loved Kelly so very much.
And that's my sister Kelly.
That's your sister Kelly, your birth sister Kelly, yeah. This was our first Christmas together. We lived in Dartmouth, and Peter was opening a new camera he had gotten. Canon camera. He was pretty excited about it. He loved to take pictures.
Look at those hot pants.
Look at those sizzlers. And that was the first self-portrait we did. He set the camera up and he wanted to take a picture. Look at our pathetic Christmas tree, but we had so much fun. So many good friends. I just remembered the address of this apartment. It was 1 Floral Avenue in Dartmouth. It was our first Christmas together. That's Gerard Higgins and Barry Norm Payton, who were probably two of Peter's dearest friends growing up, and they all moved to Halifax together and joined the Navy. And that's Peter just being Peter.
Rocking the khakis.
Rocking his khakis.
And that mustache.
Mr. Perfect. He always was immaculate in his day. Everything had to match and everything had to be wrinkle-free. He loved those guys, though. They had a lot of fun. That is Tish Joe, or Tish Payton, Barry's wife, and Peter in their house on Russell Street when Peter was trying out his new camera, self-portraits. They were really good friends.
I guess it would have been really difficult to do something like this back then.
Yeah. Set it up on the garbage can and hope for the best.
Yeah. Playa. Oh, you fancy, huh? Self-portraits for the win. Rocking that stash. Like a champ.
This was a night when we had a party on Russell Street, and
look at all that plaid.
Everybody had a plaid shirt on except your dad. We thought it was so funny that Peter was the only person who didn't wear plaid. Everybody else we called the men from plaid, and Peter was odd man out. That's the Higgins clan, the whole of the Higgins clan, Mr. and Miss Higgins and their children, Tish and Barry, Peyton, my brother Byron Bray, and of course Peter. And he was oddball out. He would not wear a plaid shirt if you paid him. This is Christmas 1981. That's Barry Payton to the left. It's my great Aunt Elsie, or James, it's your great Aunt Elsie.
The first lady I ever had to yell at.
Yeah. And of course my brother Byron in the background, and then Peter to the far right. Peter was really good to my Aunt Elsie. He drove her around to all her doctor's appointments, and she always wanted to buy him Chinese food, but he always ended up paying.
And for those National Geographic lovers, this is what happens before the silverback becomes a silverback.
This is like every good Newfoundland party. It has to end up in the kitchen. If you look at the gentleman holding James, that was Jamie just before, well, he was just a little guy. We were his godparents, and that's James when he was just about 6 months old. And Peter's to the left. I forget the gentleman's name in the background, but that's Tish Payton.
And you can see the scowling look.
Your dad didn't like much that you had lived with us for a little while. And now Hubert was back, and they were going to take you back to live with them again. Your dad was very fond of you.
The evil look.
The evil Wiseman eye. Oh, this is kind of a funny story because you see the backdrop. Your dad loved IKEA, and IKEA were carrying these like full wall portraits of like sunsets and stuff. And so him and Barry and Leo had gone out and bought one night while I was at work. And this is the look I got when I came home. They were all sitting in front of it going, is she going to like it or is she going to hate it? This is our second apartment together. It's when we were moving up. And your dad was wondering what was going to be the reaction.
Now, as the son of these two people, I don't wish to even indulge in the details, so I'll let Mom explain this one.
There's no explanation for this. We were just fooling around, and my mom and dad were taking pictures. We were at a barbecue or a beach party or something, and look at your dad's shorts. He always wore short shorts.
Pretty sure if I zoom in here, I could probably see his pee-pee.
He wears short shorts. It was just a fun day at we're having a family barbecue. That's all. That is Leo Higgins on the right, one of Peter's dearest friends, and that is Peter on the left, Mr. Cool Dude, always dressed to the nines.
Now this was taken...
Citadel Hill, about 1984, 85.
And the sad thing is, this view is exactly the same in 2012. Minus the browns and the teals, or not the teals, the beige colors.
And sadly, minus your dad.
And minus Dad.
This was about 1987, 88, and Peter and some guys were taking a road trip to Newfoundland. He was so excited to be going home with just the guys and having a guys' week. And I think they left Halifax early in the morning and they drove all the way, and they just, they had a ton of fun that week.
Well, here's the weird thing. At the date of this recording, I'm older than he is in this picture.
And actually, if you take a look, Peter finally came around to plaid.
Oh, God. I never even noticed that. Why? Well, it had to happen eventually.
Yeah. He used to call it his chubby years. Everybody will remember Nan Petal. She was adorable. There was no getting over on her.
Dad really liked her, too.
Yeah, fast and furious. She was a wonderful lady.
Had a little bit of temper on her, too, didn't she?
Yeah, she didn't take any guff from you.
Yeah.
You and Teresa playing in the living room, she'd yell out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Is your Uncle Wayne and your Aunt Sandra Berger and Aunt Sandra, and that's in their original home. That's where
I remember that home.
Where your dad grew up. Yeah.
That's where they were living when I first started coming to visit.
Yeah, and that's your Nan Wiseman. Great lady. She was always perfectly turned out. Just an amazing lady. Worked hard her whole life. She had everything perfect.
And she knew I loved those cookies.
Yeah, she loved making cookies for you. She loved her grandkids, loved her children.
Well, who's this toothless little thing?
That's your cousin Teresa. Teresa was your Uncle Peter. She used to call him Uncle Peter, and she was his sweetheart, and actually the apple of your Nan and Pop Wiseman's eye. Teresa was always their little girl that they never had, and she just loved you, having you as a cousin when you came and joined the family when you were 7. And she was a little sweetheart. She was my little girl for a little while. And then she grew up. But your Uncle Peter loved her dearly.
Yeah, we have a tendency of growing up.
You do. I wish you kids wouldn't grow up.
Who's this grumpy old fart? Shine your head for a quarter. Come on.
That's your Poppy Willie.
Yeah.
Poppy Willie and Teresa went probably her first skidoo ride. But that Poppy Willie loved Teresa. He loved his grandkids very much. And Poppy Willie will miss Peter very much. He's very good to his boys. That's Peter. Typical Peter. More is better. 2 horns, one's not enough. It was New Year's Eve. I don't remember the year. And
Oh, New Year's, sorry.
New Year's Eve, and he celebrated it. We would celebrate it with friends, and he loved a good party.
These friends here.
These are the friends we celebrate it with, and those were our chubbier days. And yeah.
There's that token gold watch that he always had.
Yeah.
And that thing for years. And last but not least, this is the reason that, regardless of the type of relationship me and my father had and the battles we went through growing up, this is the reason I still respect him as a father, because he took a great risk in adopting me, and I wasn't in a very good place when I was adopted, and I was very angry and not in a good place. But him and Mom took the chance and adopted me and gave me a life that I would not otherwise have had. So regardless of the battles we had growing up, I still respect him very much.
This was one of Peter's happiest days of his life. It was the day we got a child, and it was hard, it was tough, but Peter gave it his all and did his best, and we will miss you sorely, Peter.
Love you.